Last time you have been on the lesson online, or?
Yeah.
Okay. That's good.
I wanted to ask for the Liclus lab, can we practice questions like as in quiz questions there?
Yes, of course. Why not?
But do we have to take a subscription for that, or like it's from the school?
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have access codes or something from Liclus Lab, so they usually ask students to have a subscription if needed, also. So, I mean, yeah, it's better to practice there. But have you tried some questions already?
No, I had the subscription earlier, so I have taken some tests.
Okay, that's good. So, here we go. Yep, so hello again. And today we are going to talk about your, let's say, lane position and how to locate your car correctly while making some turns and making some maneuvers, especially on one-way roads and casual crossroads as well. So we're going to discuss it and like how to locate your car more correctly. So let's remind you like what was the exact meaning of the road. Maybe you remember some road elements also. So can you name any road elements here?
Carriageway and shoulder.
Shoulder. This one, yeah?
Yes.
Then this one?
Carriageway.
Yeah.
The dividing strip.
Dividing strip, yeah.
And pedestrian crossing.
You mean this zebra?
Yeah, the zebra.
No, it's actually not a very road element. It's more like road marking.
Okay.
But you can say sidewalk, this side,
Yeah.
or pedestrian road. So this is also road element, and all in total, like as you remember, or all in general, here you see on the picture, it's a road basically, yeah. So, and the other parts we just named. So in the middle it's dividing strip, carriageway, shoulder, cycle road or sidewalk. They're all included in one road. Yep. And we have like oncoming way and ongoing way. So two-way road basically. It's not one way in that case. So maybe we can close the door. 1 second. So site appropriate direction of traffic or ongoing lane or ongoing way, we can say. The one marked on this picture with the yellow line. So this is the road we can use for driving in our direction basically. So it's a carriageway, if we say it more officially, so it's a carriageway or part thereof designated for vehicle traffic in one direction. In the event of a two-way carriageway, the right part of the carriageway bordered by the traffic control device on the left, or in the absence, by the imaginary center line, is deemed to be the side appropriate direction of traffic. So sometimes there is a traffic control device in the middle, sometimes not. Traffic control device, we mean any sign, any road marking, dividing strip. So in that case, we have dividing strip in the middle, as you see. And that's why it's, for us, it's very easy to understand like where exactly is the side where we can drive. So it means if we look on the left side, we see oncoming traffic. And if there is no such traffic control devices, then it's basically you have to imagine where is the center of the road, the center of the carriageway. And then you have to make a decision like where is your lane and where is oncoming lane. And that's the main problem in driving in Thailand, because there are a lot of places where basically you don't have any road marking in the middle. It's hard to see how to proceed, especially if you know Nimme area. It's next to the Caltech University, and it's very hard for beginners to basically locate their car there properly on the road. That's the problem usually. And then here we can have one-way road, as you see. Carriageway. So it means if it's one-way road sign and one-way road in general, we can understand that two lanes, left and right, they go in one direction. And you see no marking here. So how do you think, how can you understand where exactly? So where exactly to locate your car? You have to imagine that there is a center line in the middle, and you can see that this is the left lane and this is the right lane. So you can use both these lanes for driving straight because it's one-way road. Why I'm explaining that in general? Because usually beginners, students, they have a problem, and they in that case, like you see in the picture, they decide to drive in the middle in some point. So it's not correct. You should still consider how many cars can fit in one carriageway. So obviously here maximum 2 cars will fit, 1 and 2. And then we can understand it's 2 lanes in one direction, and we can choose left or right lane. Then we have another definition, part of the carriageway. Why it's part of the carriageway? Because now we have line in the middle and oncoming traffic also. So now we cannot say that it's one way. So if the previous picture is the whole way is carriageway, we cannot say any parts here. But here we have part because it's marked. Ongoing lane and oncoming lane. It's quite easy here. So talking about the different situations. In the event of two-way carriageway, the right part of the carriageway bordered by the traffic control device on the left, like you can see here, or marking or dividing strip, or in its absence by the imaginary central line is deemed to be the side appropriate to the direction of traffic. So here is imaginary line. So basically it's two options. Do you have some traffic control device, dividing strip or marking, or you have nothing, then you have to imagine the central line. So this is how it works. Then talking about trams, it's much easier because usually you have tramways in the middle of the carriageway, and the line between them, imaginary line between them, exactly between the railways, the one between, should be the middle. This part is the middle of the carriageway, exactly between the trams. So here we have a solid line, but still, if you imagine you don't have it on this picture, you can say that this place will be the middle of this carriageway in general. So I'm coming here, I'm going this way. So why is the most right lane marked with the wide line here?
Public transport.
Yeah, so can be this lane can be public transport lane or maybe cycle lane, but for cycle lane it's too big, usually it's shorter. So yeah, in that case we can say it's for public transport. As you remember, there can be different lanes in the side appropriate direction of traffic. Last time we also discussed that. So as you remember, there are different types of lanes and they have different purposes, and each lane can have even different limitations sometimes. So for example, the most left lane can have 90 speed limit, the most right can have 50 speed limit. So depending on the lane you drive, also depends your actual speed limit. And of course, direction sometimes and purposes, as I said, for bicycles or buses, public transport. So these things we should consider. Usually all lanes, they are marked, and you can see always the proper sign for each lane, which indicates like which limit you have to use here, for whom this lane exactly, and so on and so on. So they are always marked. Then, if the road has a separate lane for public transport vehicles or slow-moving, heavy or other vehicles that are not rail vehicles or rail-borne vehicles, the edge of the separate lane closest to the carriageway is the edge of the side appropriate direction of traffic for other trackless vehicles. Trackless means vehicles which are not using railways. So we can say casual vehicles. So what's important here? You should consider that the edge of your lane will be this line which divides bicycles and cars, or buses and cars. This is the edge. So we cannot use this lane for driving straight. We cannot use this lane for stopping there, for U-turning, for parking. Yeah, so this is the edge that we can, this is the limit where we can go within the lane that we have. And the same logic with the bus lane. The driver may move, so some extra rules we should know about public transport. Like last time, I promised that we are going to discuss it. So now we can see some exceptional rules when and where exactly we can use public transport lanes. So the driver may move onto a lane reserved for public transport vehicles adjacent to the carriageway, appropriate to the direction of traffic, and not separated from the rest of the carriageway by a continuous line. So when exactly? Before a turn. Then stopping in order to enable passengers to enter or exit, provided that it does not impede or disturb the regular services of public transport vehicles. So you can stop on the bus lane to drop some passengers, yeah, or pick up, and continue driving if you are not disturbing public transport vehicles behind you. It is allowed to drive onto such lane reserved for public transport vehicles when completing a turn, after which the vehicle must abandon it immediately. So means when you finish your turn, you can use bus lane, but then you have to immediately abandon it. So for now we can check how it looks like in real life. Here we have a crossroad. So then these three rules we can actually explain on one place. As I said before, we can use this lane. This is bus lane. You see wider lines, bus mark, bus sign also. We can use this lane before a turn, so we can take it and make a turn. Just to inform, it's also not mandatory to take it. If you feel comfortable to make your turn to the right from this lane, you can do that. So, of course, you cannot use this lane for the right turn because these two lanes are for casual cars. So we have to take the maximum allowed lane for us and make a turn. But it's recommended to enter the bus lane and immediately abandon it and enter the crossroad. Then the last rule, as you remember, was saying that we have to when completing a turn, we have to abandon it immediately. So when I'm making the turn to the right here, I can enter bus lane, but immediately I have to abandon it as well. So if you feel comfortable also and safely, let's say, you can enter immediately the lane here in the middle. So in that case, you don't touch bus lane somehow and you are free to go. So it's even easier. But sometimes the traffic flow is so high that people use bus lane as an acceleration lane. So they use it for accelerate, and then it's also actually allowed. It's not a mistake. So you can do that. And the last thing, so I can stop and drop the passengers by to use the bus lane. But how do you think in that situation you see on the picture? Can I drop my passengers here now at the moment? If I stop here or here?
That will obstruct the oncoming bus.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a better practice not to stop there.
Yes. Because you can see the bus behind coming. Yeah.
But it is not like restricted or prohibited that I cannot stop there. Is that so?
Yeah, the rule says that stopping in order to enable passengers to exit or enter, provided that it does not impede or disturb the private provision of regular services by public transport vehicles. So I can do that, but if I'm not disturbing. If you take the particular situation, I'm disturbing. Because bus is going 50. Obviously, if I stop here, it will be very sharp for him also, and he has to wait or overtake me, so I'm disturbing. I cannot do that. I have to wait until he passes and then stop, if I want. So this is how it works. These three rules, main rules, you can keep in mind. So also, you can suggest that this saying, like before a turn, what means before a turn? So how many meters or kilometers I can take before a turn and to use the bus lane? Of course, I cannot like go all this way straight in the bus lane and then maybe here I will turn. So this is not how it works. Before a turn means really before a turn. So I have to do it here maybe. So I change my lane here and then go and turn. So driving straight a lot of kilometers is not allowed in that case, and then turn. So you still will get a penalty from the police if you do that. One more thing to keep in mind here. It's allowed to use public transport lanes, but if you are driving electric cars like Tesla, Honda, and Nissan, you see, we have a lot of car for rent, like car sharing by company called Elmo Rent. So they offer only electric cars, by the way, so you can drive quite fast by using the bus lanes. I mean, travel between streets. And some information regarding the bus stops. I think last time we also last time we talked about giving away to the bus on the highway. So we were saying that it's not mandatory to do that. on the highway. But if you are out of the city area, but if you're in the city area, like build up area, where the speed limit is 50 kilometers per hour, the driver must give way to a public transport vehicle of category D, pulling out from a bus stop. So if I'm driving in the city, speed limit is 50. It's also important to remember 50, because if you drive on some roads in the city and it's 70, you don't have to give way to the bus lane. If you know the big canyon in Lasnamäe region, this Lagna Te, we call it. So you might notice that it's 70 speed limit there, 70 kilometers per hour, and a lot of bus stops over there. So if you drive there 70 and you're in the city, you don't have to give way to the bus because it's more than 50. But yeah, as soon as you have 50 mostly in the city, you have to give way to the bus. So you have two options how to make it. If you see left indicator, like bus usually show left indicator to exit. And if you see it, you can stop next to the bus or behind the bus, or you can change the lane if it's possible and give him a way to exit. So two options. Is it clear, more or less?
Yeah.
Okay.
But like if I have two lanes there,
Yeah.
and if I'm on the leftmost lane, that will not apply.
Yeah. If you are in, if you have one more lane here and you're in the left lane, in that case you don't have to. You don't have to give way. So you have to give way only in a case if the bus stop is next to your lane. Yeah, only in that case. Okay, so now we have quite interesting topic. I think my favorite. It's one ways, yeah. Basically, there are main things, several things to know about that. If you see the sign of one way, so it's square, yeah, like SpongeBob. Remember that, because if you see blue sign circle, it's not one way, it's mandatory direction, yeah. If it's SpongeBob, then it's one way. So it only saying you that two lanes are going in one direction, but you can go right or left, doesn't matter. You can go anyway. Of course, backwards you cannot go because it's oncoming lane in that case. So if you want to go left and you have one-way road, you have to take the most left position. If you want to go right, you have to take the most right position. You cannot go left from the right lane. One-way road can be cancelled only by the one-way road cancellation sign. Only. Crossroad, never cancel one ways. Also, we have kind of long SpongeBob in that case. So it's also one way. It's not mandatory direction sign. Keep in mind. Some people think that if they see the sign, they have to go left. It's not true. You can go also straight. Obviously, you cannot go right because all lanes go in one direction. Only in this direction, of course. So that's the only thing you should consider. So if you're in the right lane, you can go only straight. If you're on the left lane, you can go straight and also left. And you can choose any lane because it's also one way. So, sorry, I missed it. So we have a mandatory direction sign here, as you now see. It's not one way. So we have an obligation to go left here only. We cannot go straight or right. We can go only left. As soon as you turn left here, you have one-way road sign. You see it? So two signs are almost in the same place, and it means this is one-way road. Then you continue driving, and for example, you want to go left here. You want to go left here. You can see again, one-way road sign goes to the left. So if I want to go left, which lane I take?
The left lane.
Yeah, I will take the left lane, and then I can turn left. And if I finish my turn, which lane I can take? Here, if I have two lanes.
I can take any lane.
Any lane, yes. I can take any lane because it's also one way. And in addition, in this place, we have stop sign. Where do I have to stop in that case?
Edge of the road, crossroad.
Yes, I have to stop on the edge. Here. It's correct answer, so I have to stop on the edge. But what's the rule? So basically, if you remember, we have stop line, then we have to stop in front of the stop line. If we don't have stop line, we have to stop at the edge. So here we don't have stop lines, we have to stop on the edge. Yeah, and Monica also answered both. That's correct, both lanes. So so we can say quite tricky place, right? So it's stop sign, one ways, a lot of mandatory direction sign. Totally hell for beginners if you drive there. One more rule to consider while driving on the one-way road or not one-way road. You see this car is on two-way, right? So we have an incoming lane and ongoing lane, but this road is one way. So brown car is crossing the one-way road, and even though it's one way, it's allowed to make a U-turn. It's allowed to make a U-turn, which is absurd, but officially, yeah, it's allowed, especially if you have a main road sign. So I can make a U-turn here and I can go back. It's quite exceptional rule, so try to keep it in mind also. Okay, now we can have some small test here. This is one-way road cancellation sign. It's exactly at the crossroad. Ends. So which way can go car A and which way can go B?
Car A can go left and straight.
Okay.
And B can go right and straight.
Right and straight. So we have two options, two answers basically. A can go left and straight, B can go straight and right. Yeah. Okay, let's wait until people answer, so we can have some more options. I will text any. Yeah, so one more answer we have. Two answers. A can go left only, B can go right, and A can go left only. What do you think about that?
I will stick to my answer.
Okay.
I think it's
Do you think one way ended here? So this road is one way or two way?
Oh, that is two-way.
Two way. So if car go A here, straight as you said, I think it's something wrong then.
Okay, yeah.
It's oncoming traffic, right? So A cannot go straight.
So A can just go left.
A can just go left only, yeah. That's true.
Okay. But B can go straight and right.
But B can go straight and right. Yeah. So those who said that A can go only left, that's correct. And B can go also straight and right. It's also correct. Don't forget that one way doesn't mean a one-way end sign doesn't mean that you cannot go straight anymore. It's just saying, okay, now it's two-way. So nothing really changed, but one way ended. So we can use still this lane for driving straight because by default it's an ongoing lane, the right lane. So yeah, this is how it works. And here the correct answer. And this is the real life situation. So we can have this road on the exam. Crossroad, I mean. So this is how it looks like in real life. You see, one-way sign ends. One-way road ends exactly here on the crossroad. So it's still valid until we reach the crossroad. Still valid. That's why if we want to go left, and examiner asks you to go left, you have to keep your maximum left lane here to go left. But of course, from the left lane, you cannot go straight. It's oncoming lane. And you can go also straight and right from the right lane. And you can see no entry sign from the other side, obviously, because it's one way. So what's next? Sorry, it was answered there. Okay, so we have one-way sign, but one-way road end sign, but it's located a little bit in advance. Let's say it's 10 meters. So it's actually maybe it will be like this. And I can put the sign like this. Yeah. So imagine this sign is located quite before. So which way can go A and which way can go B?
Won't it be the same as before? I'm confused.
But imagine one-way finish here. Yeah. So last picture, one-way was ending here. It's two different situations.
I mean, if one way has finished before, then like A should not be there.
Yeah, that's
A should not be there.
yeah, that's the correct answer. A should not be there. So any answers from the chat, maybe? So as you understand, one-way ending before the crossroad in advance. So as we already agreed in the class that A should not be here at all. So at this point, A is standing in oncoming traffic, if we can say so. I know it's like 10 meters of oncoming traffic, but still it's standing in oncoming traffic. Ah, yeah, sorry, I told the correct answer before. Yeah, I know, the slide is confusing, but I really didn't know how to show it more correctly. So B can go straight, left, and right. Obviously, A cannot be there. And this is how it looks like in real life. So you see crossroad here, but one-way ends here. So it means this 15 or 10 meters of road, it's oncoming traffic now for you if you drive this way. And do you know how they catch you here? They just say, okay, let's go left on the crossroad. You still think it's one way, and you enter this lane, and you continue driving like this, turn left, and then you're failed after that.
Was this rule just made for the test?
No,
Because, like,
to be honest, I don't know the reason why they put like this.
Yeah, I mean, in reality, I don't see a reason like why would this rule be there.
I have two explanations, maybe. So they wanted to make this a place free for parking for these house owners, so they can come to park from different ways, like not only from one way, so they have access from different streets. And that's why they put one way here. But second reason, they didn't want to put a new post for a one-way end sign, and they decided to use the existing post and to put it here, which is more logical, I think. Okay, why? So people are confused. What exactly is not clear? Let's say. What exactly is not clear? If you see one-way sign, one-way end sign, so remember on the previous example, sorry, let's slide back. Yeah. So basically crossed SpongeBob means two-way lane is starting. Yeah, that's correct. So we can see with you two different situations. One way stands on the crossroad. You can see it's almost on the crossroad, right? Second situation, one way ends far away from the crossroad. It's two different situations. Far away from the crossroad. One way ends exactly at the SpongeBob sign, yeah, as we said. So it ends here. Here also, it ends here, but it's very close to the crossroad. That's why we don't consider the situation on the next picture. So here it's still one way if I want to turn left. But here if I want to turn left, it's already not one way. I go here, it's already two-way road. It's already two-way road, so it's oncoming traffic and this is my lane. So if I want to go left, I have to be on the right lane here to turn left. So that's the confusion I guess you had. If we go back here, I don't know if it's clear now, maybe. no? Is it clear for you also?
Yes.
Okay, so if it's clear, more or less, we can proceed. Also, I think in your homework session, there should be, no, previous. Maybe not here. Not here. Where did we have it? I don't know why we didn't add it. Special regulation science. Okay, so in general, if you go to YouTube, there are one video about one-way roads that we have also, but in practice. So you can see how we have to. You can see how to drive it in practice. So I will put the link in the chat just in case. And for the next lesson, I also want to put the roundabout video in the chat. Okay. Okay, I guess we can continue now. So check these two links, like roundabouts and one-ways. Then location of a vehicle while driving. 1 plus 1 means one oncoming lane, one ongoing lane. On a carriageway with road surface marking and separate lanes, the driver must drive within the borders of their lane, obviously. So we cannot drive just simply in the middle. We have to be exactly in the middle of the carriageway. I mean, we have to be exactly between the stone border, sidewalk, and the marking. In a case of 2 plus 1, it's a little bit different. Also, so what should we consider in that case? On a two-way carriageway with the total width of 3 lanes with road surface marking, it is prohibited to drive onto the leftmost oncoming lane, which is obvious. So not even for overtaking, we cannot use the left oncoming lane. The middle lane may be used only for overtaking or rounding, and it must be used for changing the lane before making a left turn or U-turn. So we can use this lane, especially if we talk about the highway, of course. We can use this lane only for overtaking and rounding some obstacles, or if we want to turn left. Other than that, we should be always in the right lane. Last time we also mentioned that when we talked about the highway rules. So right lane always, if we have options, 2 options to drive. Most of the roads in Estonia, they are like this, so 1 plus 2. Some of them 2 plus 2, of course, but most of them are 1 plus 2, and you can see that in one point it's only 2 lanes, 1 plus 1, and then in some point it begins to be 1 plus 2. It's become wider, so it's a good chance for you to overtake some trucks, some tractors, I don't know, like everything. And then you have to go back to your right lane. And usually, we missed one sign. Usually we have a special sign for that. It's saying that, of course, speed limit is higher. And it's saying also that these 2 lanes are going to be open next 1.5 kilometers. So you should consider that after 1.5 kilometers, you have to go back to your right lane, because it will be over at some point. I get lost. How to? Okay, I'm okay. I have to put YouTube, I guess. Yeah. So if you want to make some left turns or U-turns, we have to. Now you see lane is ending, right? And special road marking, which we discussed, road sign and road marking, which we discussed last time. Ending, lane ending, so we have to go away from it. And if you want to make any U-turn or left turn, you have to use special lanes. So you have to go right first, go to that lane, and then you can go back. So this is how it looks like. In the case of 2+2 road, on a two-way carriageway with the total width of 4 or more lanes, it's not allowed to drive on a coming lane, obviously, also. So we just can use left lane for overtaking, and that's it. And we also should discuss variable direction traffic, which we also had a chance to discuss last time. Do you remember? Can you explain maybe shortly what it is? Do you have any idea?
The variable direction lane, it is open for, it can be open for both the
Directions.
which is determined by the sign on the lane.
Yeah.
On which side it is open for.
Yeah. And usually it's open on particular time of the day in different ways. So if we check this one, now this lane is open in that direction towards to city center, if we talk about Lasnamäe region. So in that point it's open in city center on Gonsiori Street. So it's usually open until 12 p.m. After 12 p.m. till next day, it will be open from city center to Lasnamäe. And you see it's a specific sign for that. So now that way this lane is closed. If we go back, we see arrow. So now this way lane is open. So quite simple. Other lanes are bus lanes. You remember, you can see on this animation that cars are driving, but actually it's not. In fact, now it's not allowed to drive there. Maybe it was a plan to make one casual lane before, but in fact now this lane is bus lane and this lane is bus lane, both of them. So in fact cars can use only this lane, only the one in the middle. And you can see specific road marking also, the one we discussed last time. So we can show, I can show it to you on Google Maps once again. So we have variable direction traffic sign. So it means we are crossing. It's now another SpongeBob, but with 2 arrows, we can say. If we go to the crossroad, we can see which way I can go. So this way I cannot go. You see, lane is crossed. Lane is closed. So it means that way I can go, even though I don't have sign, but logically I can understand that. So this is how it works. So in that case, if I cannot go left, in that case I can go only straight and right. Bus lanes I cannot use. That's why left I cannot go as well, because these two lanes are bus lanes, and the one in the middle, my lane is closed anyway, so that's the logic. So on a carriageway in a build-up area, it's allowed to drive on any lane appropriate to direction of traffic, except special lanes, so except bus lanes, for example. On the road outside the build-up area, one must drive as close to the right edge of the carriageway as possible without endangering other road users. So it's important. In the city, it's not so important, but on the highway, it's important to keep your position as much as possible to the shoulder. So you can see even the Google Map photo, like car is driving so much close in the center. So it's not correct. You should be as much as possible on the right. The idea is that if you have 90 kilometers per hour limit, usually it's like minimum, right? So sometimes it's 100, 110. If you have this speed, it's more safe for you to keep distance between cars bigger, because if something happens with your car, you will immediately hit the car on oncoming way. But if you have distance between, at least you have a chance to save yourself and maneuver to somewhere, at least to the forest. So maybe it will be not so risky. I mean, everything is better than face-to-face accident with another car on oncoming traffic. Everything, even tree is better. What else? In a carriageway, if a carriageway outside a build-up area has several marked lanes on the side appropriate to the direction of traffic, the lanes on the left may be used only if the lanes on the right are occupied. In such an event, it's prohibited to drive on oncoming lane also. So again, as we know, left lane we cannot use for casual straight driving, only if the right lane is occupied or if we need to overtake someone. Then we have to go, after that, we have to go back to the right lane as soon as we finish overtaking. So this is the thing. Examiners also like to catch you on highways. If in the city you don't have any limits with lanes, you can drive in any lane except bus lanes. So on the highway, it's not like this. And if you forget about that, you can easily make a mistake. So that's why as soon as you see end of the city sign, immediately change the lane to the maximum possible right position. That's it. So some also exceptions for the left lanes. A vehicle with a maximum speed of 40 kilometers per hour or for some reason not depending on the traffic law cannot drive faster, must drive on the rightmost lane. For example, scooters, mopeds, tractors, they have to drive on the rightmost lane. This requirement does not apply if the vehicle is overtaking a vehicle driving in front. So one more car, more slower than you, driving in front, so you can overtake it, of course, even if you both drive like less than 40. When the vehicle is about to make a left turn or a U-turn, so if you see tractor wants to make a left turn or U-turn, he can be on the left lane in that case. To a maintenance vehicle performing maintenance work, for example, snow cleaning machines, they can be in the left lane also if they clean and make some duties, basically performing some duties. So this one is clear, right? Hopefully. What's next? yeah, here. Yeah, so getting back to tramways. Getting back to the tramways. So, a trackless vehicle must not drive on the oncoming tramway track. So, you can never use, even if you don't have solid lines in the middle, you can never use oncoming tramways, oncoming rails. For overtaking, for turning, nothing. You cannot use. Trackless vehicle may, without obstructing them, tram traffic, drive or stop on a tramway track appropriate to the direction of traffic and at a grade with the carriageway only if the number of lanes for trackless vehicle is not signposted. So the point is that we can use tramway tracks for driving if we don't have any special regulation sign. If we have special regulation sign and it's saying, okay, left lane, right lane can be used for straight driving only. So this lane is third lane, it's not mentioned there, it means we cannot use it for driving. If it's not mentioned, or we don't have any sign, we can use all lanes, even tramways. Like here, so we have big lane, ongoing lane, we can use all lanes here. And for turning left, we also can use tramway tracks to turn left. If we have special regulation signs saying that we have 2 lanes only, and from the left lane I can turn left, it means tramway is the third lane, but this lane is not mentioned in the sign, and it means we cannot use it for turning left. So we have to turn left from the left lane, which is mentioned in the special regulation sign. One more tricky rule here, which you can say very weird. If the vehicle obstructs tram traffic, the driver must free the tramway track. A driver approaching from the opposite direction must make it possible for the driver of a vehicle turning left to free the tramway track. Let me describe you the situation somehow. So imagine what the rule says. So if I'm saying here and I want to turn left, let's say to this shop, I don't know what it is, but yeah, let's say I want to turn left to this shop place, and I'm standing here to wait, to give way as usually. If I turn left, I give way to the oncoming cars, right? Yeah. But in a case I have a tram behind me, the oncoming cars, they have to give me away, because they have to make sure that I make this railway free for them, for the trams. That's why this rule is weird. Because usually I give away, but in the case I have a tram behind me, they have to give me away so I can free the way for the tram. So behind me, he can easily go after. No one follows that, by the way, but at least you know it. At least you know this rule exists.
So in practice, the tram usually waits for...
Yeah, in practice, usually tram stays, you stay, you both give way to oncoming ways, and after that you both go, as soon as it's free. In fact, oncoming traffic will never stop to give you away. Because actually, no one knows this rule also. It's quite, yeah, specific, let's say. So, shoulders. You can use the roadside or shoulder only if the vehicle's high turning radius is not allowed to do it otherwise. So we can use shoulder for making U-turn if the road is narrow. We also can use shoulder if your vehicle is too slow and you need to give way to the cars behind you. So you can put yourself to the shoulder, drive slowly there and people can overtake you easily. You need to give way to the oncoming cars. So someone is using oncoming lane, your lane, and you're afraid that he will not make this overtaking, you can use shoulder to hide and give him pass. You can use shoulder for parking and standing. And also you can use shoulder for overtaking the cars which are going to turn left or U-turn, like this car. So this car turn left, I can overtake this car on the right. I can use the shoulder in that case. And then location of vehicle while driving on casual crossroads and situations. So obviously if we don't have any special regulation signs, we should consider some basic rules. If I want to turn left, I also take the maximum left lane in my road, in my carriageway. Right, the most right lane. If I have one very wide lane, I should be maximum in the middle. Maximumly in the middle. So I take the middle point here. And then I can go left. And it's also important to stay in the correct lane after finishing the left turn. Especially if you have two lanes turning left. It's important. The problem is that sometimes people miss the sign and they turn left, and after that they choose not correct lane here. For example, from left lane to the right lane. And behind you one more guy wants to turn here. So it can be an accident. And that's the mistake usually people do on this place. It's exam place. In Nim area. You see on the sign, 2 lanes turn left. 2 lanes. Left and right. So they ask you to go left and after that to go right. So it's easier for you to stay in the right lane then. So you make your left turn by using this lane. Yep. And you have to enter this lane here. Maybe we can look from this side. Yeah. So I take right lane, I turn from my right lane to the right lane here. This. Right? But the mistake usually people do here, they turn from right to the left maybe, or from the left lane to the right. So it's not correct. So, yeah.
In this case, like if there was no special regulation sign, in that scenario, we can only turn left from the left lane.
Yeah, right? You're correct. Yeah. If we don't have special regulation signs, to turn left, we have to take the maximum left lane. And after we make a turn, we can choose any lane, left or right, after we finish. But in that case, we have special regulation signs. So. And now talking about passing each other on the crossroad. We also, I think, mentioned that before a bit. So in that case, we don't give away to each other because we don't somehow touch each other ways, and we don't have to give away. We just complete a turn. And in that case, you see our trajectory even not crossing each other. So we go left here, oncoming traffic go left here. So our lanes are not crossing each other somehow. And if we turn left here, we have a dividing strip in the middle. So it makes this thing a little bit different. We have to go to the middle first. It means we have to cross the trajectory of each other. And this is how it looks like. So I go to this position, oncoming car goes to this position. We have giveaway signs both. And after we see that it's free, we can go left. So we cannot use this position. We have to consider that it's right lane. The same logic works if we have a crossroad. So you see that if I enter the dividing strip, I have to consider that, and I have a crossroad, I still have to consider that this is right lane. So if I want to make U-turn or left turn, I have to be in this position, in the most right position. And the same for the left. And the same for making U-turn. I have to consider that it's right lane. I cannot use this position. But if I don't have any crossroads, I can make a U-turn like this even. Yeah, sorry. So this is how it looks like. And now we can check some examples. Like here, no crossroads around, I make a U-turn like this. And this traffic like this. Yeah. Here and here. You can see even tire prints. Someone was drifting.
Just outside here, or
Yeah, it's quite close here.
yeah.
But here it's a bit different. Now we have dividing strip also and crossroad. So we should consider right lane and oncoming lane because it's a crossroad over there. So if you are outside a build-up area, it's allowed to make a left turn or a U-turn on a road with the dividing strip only in a place signposted as such. So if you are out of the highway, out of the city, of the highway, you can make U-turn or left turn only if it's allowed by the sign. Only if it's allowed by the sign. In the city, you can do it everywhere where it's possible to make it physically. So, like this highway, we can see U-turn sign. It means I can make U-turn in this place. If there is no this sign, but still lane, I cannot do that. Only sign can allow that. Okay, that was the last slide, I think. Okay, let me check. For last time we discussed and we had some tests also for making, right? No?
In this one, yeah.
This test. But I think we yeah, here we had some topic. Did you have time to make the test, by the way?
Yeah.
Yeah, next time we can discuss, we will talk about pedestrians, but maybe we still have some time, we can talk about that a bit. Yeah. Let's make like maybe 2-minute break. If you have some time, we can make the test if you didn't make it. And we'll talk about the pedestrian crossings a bit and check the answers then. Okay? Okay. Let's talk about a bit pedestrian crossing. Next time we'll continue with that because we're a little bit out of schedule, but still we'll try to manage. So in this topic we'll discuss today and next time duties of pedestrians and drivers, the main duties. And one of the duties that pedestrians should consider, if you are walking on the road in poor visibility, it means it's not mandatory to wear a reflector if you are walking on a sidewalk, but if it's mandatory to have it if you are crossing carriageways on pedestrian crossing, or you are walking on a carriageway somehow. So it's mandatory to have a reflector or another light source. So for example, some runners, I saw they use some kind of a hats with light with flashlights. So it's also possible. Any light source basically, or reflector. So it's mandatory, and if you don't have it, police can even give a penalty to you for that. So actually, so try to consider that. Talking about these different visibilities and rule related with the safety waistcoat, the one that usually policemen have. In the event of emergency stopping in a poor visibility or at night time. Poor visibility, remember what exactly it means, by the way?
Maybe due to fog or
Yeah, when weather conditions are bad. The driver of powered vehicle of category B, C, D, or T must wear safety waistcoat when exiting the motor vehicle or tractor and stepping onto the carriageway. So as soon as you have any emergency situation, you go out of the car and it's nighttime or fog or rain or snow, it's mandatory for you to wear the safety waistcoat. So you always need to have it in your car. And different stopping distances. So just for you to consider, if you drive 90, you will stop in 70 meters only. If you drive 50, you will stop after 27, 28 meters actually. So we consider here different, as you remember, we should consider in stopping distance, we should consider reaction time, brakes for apply, and your actual braking, your tire condition, all the things, but in average it will take this distance. And some examples. So if you have dark clothes, outfit, you will be visible only in 10 meters in dark time. 10 meters. So imagine if he drives 90, he will see you only when you are 10 meters close to this car, the driver. He will start braking and he will stop only after 30 meters. So obviously he will hit you to death. So that's why it's not very good idea to have this kind of clothing. You can have it, but then you need some light sources. 40 meters, if you have kind of bright outfit, white outfit, you're more visible in that case. And if you have some reflectors or safety waistcoat, the reflector coat, you are visible in 150 meters. So that's why it's important to have it in dark time when you are exiting your car. One more situation we can see here, that another car in dark time is blinding us. Very often, especially in winter, it's quite common situation. A lot of cars during this time, like rush hour. And you see pedestrian crossing is totally not readable, not visible. We cannot see anyone. Maybe you can see one person coming there, right? Still one person, right? But actually it's two persons over there. So that's why Maybe if they have some reflections, then maybe it will be more visible for us. If they have it on the boots or maybe on the shoulders somewhere. So this is the difficulties for driving in nighttime. So that's why this course is mandatory to pass in Estonia as slippery course as well. Just to have some skills. So some obligations of driver upon ensuring safety of pedestrians. When approaching an unregulated pedestrian crossing, the drivers must drive at sufficiently low speed so as not endanger a pedestrian who has stepped or is about to step on the pedestrian crossing. So it's important saying here. Some people say that, okay, he's just waiting here, standing. You are on the right side somewhere here. You might say, why I have to give way? Because he is still so far. But actually, officially, according to the rules, it's not true. If he is even going to step, you still have to give him away. It's quite philosophical question where exactly it means that he's about to step. If he's here, or if he's here, or if he's here. So I usually recommend to consider it like 3 meters. Maybe 3 meters. So if you see that it's about 3 meters until he reached the pedestrian crossing, it's better for you to stop and check if he go or not. If he go, you give way. If not, you will start and go again. So this is how it works. Of course, it's always better to walk off your bike when you cross pedestrian crossings. So it's quite dangerous to drive on the fast speed on pedestrian crossings, and because drivers will not notice you. Imagine if the same happens in dark time. So it's impossible to notice it, and you will just hit it. That's why as soon as Bolt scooters become very popular 2 years ago or maybe 3 years ago, we had a lot of accidents during the summer because young people are still not in mind to understand that, and drivers are not ready for this kind of high speeds on pedestrian crossings. And now we have a lot of rules regulating that, but back then there was no any laws related with the scooters, and it was crazy, like chaos, and a lot of accidents. So and mostly it's kids, which is more sad, yeah, because it's fun for them, but they don't understand the full danger of that. That's why as soon as you cross the pedestrian crossing, my recommendation to walk off the bike or scooter or any other like self-balancing vehicles, anything. One interesting situation we have here also. So there is a rule that if one car stopped in front of the pedestrian crossing, like this, the other car, gray one, cannot pass him. So you also have to stop, ensure it's free, and then you can go. Yep.
That is the rule.
It's a rule. Yeah. Quite interesting rule, yeah. So if you have someone on the right side stopped, so you drive, you see on the right side car stopped in front of pedestrian crossing, you also have to stop and check if the pedestrian crossing is free.
We have to like stop completely and
Full stop.
okay.
Yeah. Completely stop. The point is that if the right car stopped, it most probably means that some pedestrian is coming on the right. Most probably. So that's the point. And that's why this rule exists. So we cannot go faster. So as soon as this car will start, you also can start going. Exception if this car is standing and this car is broken, maybe. It has emergency lights. One question in the chat, but it's just a recommendation or a rule regarding this. Let's say there was a good example somewhere. Maybe it was somewhere in the homework video. I don't remember exactly, but let me explain you here on this picture. It's not related with bicycles and scooters, but we just considered this crossroad, okay? Don't read any rules here. So when it's mandatory for you, if you have scooter or bicycle, to walk off. So my recommendation means nothing, right? So we have to consider the rules actually. So if car is turning right and bicycle or scooter going like this, then you don't have to walk off the scooter or bike. So car has to give you a way anyway. If gray car goes straight and you use scooter or bicycle and also go the same way, then you have to give way to the car. So if car is turning to you, you have priority. If car is going straight to you, you don't have priority. So it means you have to walk off your bike or scooter. It's mandatory. But if he's turning in your direction like this, the brown car, then you don't have to walk off your bike or scooter, and you can pass sitting on it. So this is how the actual rule. So this is how the actual rule looks like. But still, it doesn't matter for me. I mean, it doesn't make any sense actually, because even if the car turns right, I think it has more chances to hit you than the car who can go straight. So that's why I recommend you to drop off the bike and scooter like always when you cross the pedestrian crossing. Is it clear now? Monica, is it clear for you? The rule I explained? Okay, good. So now we have a few more slides and then we can finish and check the test. So one more obligation of a driver upon ensuring safety of pedestrians. So if the visibility of a crossing is limited on the side of oncoming traffic due to a standing vehicle or some other obstacle, the driver must take special care so as not to endanger pedestrian on the crossing. So of course, if you have some obstacles on the road or on the oncoming road, we have to take extra care. The thing is that it's not always mandatory to go 50 in the city if it's 50 in the city, right? Sometimes it's even better to slow down in some points. I will try to find you one example quickly. Yeah. So I hope I will find a good example here. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's okay. From this side it's not visible in some point, but on that side. So imagine you drive this way on this road, this way, yeah, and you see pedestrian crossing, right? And you see this big car blocking the visibility of this pedestrian crossing. So it's the trickiest place here, because this car is always parked here in some point. And of course all people drive 50 by default, but imagine some kid jump on the road here. You will not have time to stop in the correct position. And that's why in these kind of places you can slow down and take extra care. So you can do 30, maybe 20, double check if it's free to go, and then continue driving 50. So this is what the rule says. Clear? Yep.
Yeah.
And one more obligation we have: we cannot block or stop on pedestrian crossings. So it's prohibited. If it's traffic jam, we have to consider that and stop before or after the pedestrian crossing. Okay, on that point we can finish with this, and next time we'll continue talking about other pedestrian and driver's duties. So this slide will be the first one next time. Okay, so let's go to the for the test, I think. On which purpose can you use the public transport special lane?
For stopping in order to enable passengers to enter or exit.
It's second, yeah? Yeah, that's correct. If you're not agree in the chat, you can tell the correct answer and why. Oh, you text quite quickly. This is so big sentence. That's good. Yeah, that's the correct answer. Is it allowed to turn? Is it allowed to turn left if you see the sign after the crossroad? This topic was related with special regulation sign homework video.
Yes.
So we have an answer yes.
No, I think no.
No? Yes or no?
No.
Okay, why no?
Because the special regulation sign does not have this left turn, just says to go straight.
Yeah, but it's one small detail you should consider. It's not before the crossroad, it's after the crossroad.
Okay.
So a special regulation sign can have different purpose. If it's before the crossroad, it's mandatory to follow it. If it's after the crossroad, it has, let's say, more informational reasons, purposes. So in that case, if it's after the crossroad, it just shows you the amount of the lanes and how many lanes you have in incoming and ongoing lanes, directions. But it doesn't have any obligational purposes. So it means you can go any direction you want. Left, right, back, doesn't matter. But you're correct only if it's before the crossroad. We have to delete after from this sentence. So yes is the correct answer here. How do you think? Are you in the build-up area or outside of the build-up area? This one you should know.
In the build-up area.
I'm in the build-up area because the background of the sign is white. What is the meaning of this sign? Yeah. Maximum recommended speed if the weather and road conditions are good. Yeah. Yeah, all answers are correct in the chat that I see. What is the meaning of this sign?
Variable direction traffic.
Yeah. Indicates the entrance to the variable direction of traffic. Which sign allows you to go straight?
A and C.
Yeah. A and C. Yeah, because B is mandatory direction, right? A and C, it's one ways, so they don't give us any prohibitions. So this A and C, they go allow us to go straight. Yeah, correct. And the last one, what is the meaning of this sign?
Third one. Left lane is ending and it is recommended to change.
Yeah. So left lane is ending and it's recommended to change the lane to the right in 1-by-1 order. All clear?
Yeah.
Good? Yeah. All answers are correct. Thank you for answering. Okay, in that point we will continue next time then. And we'll finish with the pedestrian driver duties and then we will discuss roundabouts. So check the links I sent regarding one ways, and I recommend you to check the link with the roundabouts. Have you noticed where I found it? Yeah, on the channel.
Yeah, on the YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm. If you will have any difficulties, just let me know. I will send you directly also. Okay?
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I wanted to ask if I can start the
Driving lessons. Yeah, sure.
So, what is the procedure? How do I go?
Um,
Do I need to
yeah.
register?
One sec. Yeah, I will turn off the translation, the broadcast. I mean. Okay, guys. Thank you for watching. Then see you next time. See you next Wednesday. And you will have. By the way, one more test will come, right? Yeah, I think this one should be. Yeah. So don't forget to make the test as well. Then see you. Thank you.